Welcome to Fong Shan Christian Center. I'm Jeff Shu, and you are
Øyvind Borgsø.
I'm very pleased to be able to meet you, Øyvind, in Fong Shan, and you are very much experienced in the field of meditation, and you try different kinds of meditations over the years, and now you're a meditation teacher and also writing your new book after a book, Listening to God, like 2 years ago you did. Let us take this chance to have a heart-to-heart dialogue on spirituality and hopefully on psychotherapy or spiritual direction together. I think we both are very much interested in spiritual growth.
That's true.
Yes.
I am working on how to include the body in prayer. And when I include my body in prayer, my experience is that then I can come to God with my whole self, not only my intellect, with my words, but everything I am. And then I open everything I am to God, so I let God inside. And so it's more a holistic prayer for me.
Yes.
When I include the body. So I try to inspire people how they can include body in prayer, and I show them how the body, spirit and the soul work together, and how physiology and psychology and theology, how that is joined in positions and prayer. So I define prayer more as a communication with God. It doesn't have to include words, but it may. I have different perspectives on prayer.
Yeah.
I myself is in Protestant, but many different confessions and societies have different perspectives on Christian prayer.
Yes. So why do you emphasize so much the body?
I think it's because I've been working on movement and different. I started with martial arts, and there I learned how to establish balance and learn how to be friend with my body. And I've been studying different meditations techniques from India, and I've been studying Qigong here from China, a little bit Tai Chi. So when I became a Christian, it was important for me to include my body in my communication with Jesus as well.
Yes.
And I was a little bit confused because when I entered the church, I think the church has probably the highest theology on body, but the lowest embodied spiritual practice. So I hope the church can start to have more focus on embodied spiritual practice. So I wanted to include my body because I had this experience from before. That's why my body is important. And when I pray with only my mind, I exclude a very important part of me.
Yes. Yeah, when you talk about this body, it kind of reminds me that there's certain things that echoes in my heart that even in my culture, in my Chinese churches, I also find some Christians, they are always in their head. And they use their mind to pray, losing contact with their body. So because I'm also doing retreats with people, teaching spirituality here and doing spiritual direction or psychotherapy, and I also meet some people who are disembodied. I mean, dissociated from the body.
Yes.
I would like to hear, some more of how you would help these people when they are very much in their head to come back to the body. Could you give us some very brief, precise examples?
It is difficult because many people, they tend to escape from their bodies, because when I help them to reconnect with their bodies, they meet themselves.
Yes.
And everything that's going on inside themselves, everything they don't like. And there is a resistance to reconnect.
Yes.
Because then I have to accept, then I have to, befriend. So it is difficult, and that is the starting point, that we have this resistance. That's why it's easy to be intellectual, because that's easier. I don't have to cope with all the emotions and darkness.
Yes.
So usually we just start to pay attention. To pay attention to how you sit, to pay attention to your hands, your fingers. Can you notice your fingers right now at the moment? Can you pay attention to your shoulders? Are your shoulders up towards your ears, or are you loose around your shoulders? And your stomach? Can you feel if your stomach is moving together with your breathing? And when the air is coming in and out of your nose, can you feel that? So then I help them to focus or shift attention, to pay attention to their bodies. Just, how is my body today? How is my relation to my body today? How do I sit? How is it to sit like this? And then just to help them to be more aware of sensations, emotions, physical signals, because the body is speaking, it's communicating.
Yes.
And it's a good thing to start to pay attention to the communication of the body. Am I hungry or am I not?
Yeah. I'm interested in knowing when you bring people back to their bodies. My first reaction is, the hell break loose. for some people, it's like hell, to coming back to the body.
Yeah. Scary.
Have you experienced that before?
Yes. That they freak out when they. But it's also like coming home. So it's a paradox, because my deepest longing and my deepest fears tend to walk side to side, tends to be the same. So when I help people to reconnect with their bodies, yes, they sometimes meet scary things, but then we walk with this together, and I help them to be safe and calm and secure. And then there's also this feeling of be still and coming home, because this is my home, right? So it's better to be home than to be outside. So it's those two things. When we come home, it's sometimes dark and sometimes light.
I remember St. Paul said our body is the temple of the Spirit, right? So the Spirit dwells in us, in our body. So why do we run away from our body? Very normal, you see Christians in churches, they are worshiping, they sit there, listening to sermons. Listening to sermon is the major part of the worship. For many churches in Hong Kong, the sermon lasts like 40 minutes or 45 minutes. So it's a major thing. And when talking about fellowship, they come together to study the Bible, pray together. You always see people learning things, and talking, sharing about things and using their head. And only very recent years that the praise and worship kind of things incorporate into some kind of dance that people can sing together in the morning. Some women they sing together using some very praise and worship song and do exercise, physical exercise all together. It's only in recent years, and I think this is a very good trend in Hong Kong, bringing back our body to our whole religious life. Yes, but this is new. I will still I will say that we are like going against the current, up to bring back our body.
Yeah. But would you say that strong intellectual ability is more appreciated than creativities and arts and
yeah, talking about creativity, arts, those are less predictable. I think that they are less manipulative. That compared with hearing a sermon. If you have a problem in church, we Christians in Hong Kong tend to we have a kind of revival meeting in a long sermon, a great speaker to come to speak to us, and hopefully we may all repent, something like that. So we are very much used to this kind of way of thinking, indoctrination, learning from the Bible. I think those are good things in itself already, but it sounds like we are lacking in our body and especially if talking about the right brain, our feelings that are associated with our body, bodily sensation, creativity, spontaneity, all this is more on our right brain than our analytic left brain.
It's like almost like my soul or my body limbs aids my soul to draw closer to God. It's like when I don't have the words anymore, my body helps me to open up to God. So it's the body and the soul and the spirit are close friends and helps to maintain openness to God.
Yes.
So just different positions helps my soul to be open.
Can you give us one example how a certain position help you?
Yeah, we have. If we can agree that the body has a language, so the body talks to you and to myself, like open palms. For me, it signalize or symbolize openness to God as well, because in many churches we open our palms in worship, for example. So this for me helps my soul just to open to God and receive from God. That is the soul perspective. And then the physical perspective. So when I open my palms, I twist here, but I use these muscles, and I use muscles in my chest as well. Maybe if you can hold your chest and just turn, maybe it's possible just to feel that you also move these muscles between your ribs that helps your breathing. So when you open your palms, at the same time you actually open your chest. and let more air flow inside. So you open yourself, you open your heart, and
So
you open
you-
your
you-
chest.
You can literally feel it, right? That kind of connection, your hand connected with the muscle of your heart.
Yes,
Oh.
but it's science as well. You know, in
Science, yeah.
physiology, they when they scan your body, they understand that all movements are connected to other movements.
Yes.
Our body is like the nature.
Yes.
Everything is connected to something,
Yes.
and different systems and parts are working together to maintain harmony.
Yes.
And when I turn my palms up, for me, I can feel movements in my soul as well. So I can feel that my soul is like my soul smiles and opens. And if I do like this, that's the same, because now this is an ancient Christian prayer position, that now I gather nothing else than God is important. This, when I do like this with my hands, my soul receive that now God is my focus. It's like my body movements brings my soul to stillness. And this also is like I gather myself. Now I'm not dispersed anymore. Now I'm not all over the place anymore. Now I am more whole. So I become calm and secure, and my soul smiles, and my soul will be able to open, and I can feel that when I enter specific positions, I can feel that my soul opens up to God.